It says, but shotguns can shoot far. And that's the thing. That's the thing. Yes, it could shoot far. And so my thing is, if it was McMichael's intention to shoot Ahmaud, then he could have shot him from a distance. If the whole premise was he was coming down the road and he's trying to stop, and he's out his car with his gunshot with his shotgun pointed at him, then he could have shot him then. So if he didn't shoot, because he didn't shoot them then, and once again, the father of McMichael's on the back of the truck with Ahmaud coming from behind, he could have just easily took that 357 and shot him from a distance. That 357 would definitely go some distance. But he didn't do that. Neither one of them did that. No shots were fired until there was an attack done for the gun. Period. So if Ahmaud, if he would have gone another direction, gone down that road, the only thing that would have happened was they would continue to have a chase. Eventually, the police would have caught up, and then that would have been it. He would have had his life today. But because he went for the gun, this is what it was. He did not get shot for for trespassing on a construction property. Construction private property, mind you. He didn't get shot for that. And this is the lie that the media is portraying, guys, and we have to be honest with the truth. Agree or disagree whether or not they were wise in having the gun, if they should not have the gun, if he really wasn't unarmed, if he really wasn't armed and all that kind of stuff like that. Never mind all of that. Because the thing is, he didn't get shot for trespassing. He got shot because he attempted to take the gun away from McMichael. That's what happened. My homie, my best friend of mine's, my best friend showed he teases me because like when we was younger, he would we had BB guns. I know we did some stupid stuff when we was young, man, but we had BB guns. And my homie, he would point the BB gun at me and he'd be like, I'm gonna shoot you. And I'll be like, oh, you can get me. And I dodge and I go left and I go right and I'm coming at him. I'm coming for him. And I go left and I go right. And he'll shoot, he'll go boop. And then catch me in my shoulder. Bro, he'll look at me. I did stupid stuff like that, guys. He said, man, wait, why you do that? I'm pointing at you. Why would you come at me when I'm pointing this at you? And I'm like, hey, I could dodge the bullet. I could dodge it. But I simply wasn't fast enough. You know what I'm saying? But that's the thing. Why would you run at somebody who has a gun? So we were playing. I knew it was a BB gun. I knew the worst, it was going to make a mark on me. I knew it wasn't going to kill me. But if I knew somebody has a gun, and I know that I don't know if they got intentions for me, if I know they're just trying to catch me, whatever the case may be, I'm not going to run and try to take the gun. I'm not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm going to try to get out of there. Man, if I think they're trying to kill me, there's neighbors' houses right there. Man, I'd be calling out, hey, they trying to kill me. They trying to kill me. That ain't what was going on either. Because Ahmaud wasn't trying to draw attention to himself. He knew he was wrong. He knew he was wrong. He was trying to leave the scene. That's all he was doing. He was trying to leave the scene. He could have easily, all in the neighborhood, hey, somebody help! Somebody trying to kill me. He could have, that could have happened. Whether, like you say, he didn't trust the neighborhood, whatever the case may be, that could have been the case. Could have ran down the neighborhood, kept going. But he went for the gun. And because he went for the gun, that was a fatal mistake. That is what happened. And then, after the first shot was fired, went through his hand, Ahmaud didn't stop. And once again, now it's ensuing. He didn't stop. He kept fighting. His hand already done blown up, but he's keep going. Now it's adrenaline pumping. It's adrenaline rushing, moving fast. Right now, he ain't thinking about, oh man, I got shot. He means business. Let me go. Like, no. Now he's like, he fighting for his life now. Because he felt like, okay, this man is going to shoot me. So let me keep fighting. And that's what he does. He's not trying to run away. He's fighting. And he's laying into him. He's throwing them right hands. And he's hitting McMichael all across the dome. He's hitting him, tearing him up. But he keeps firing a shot. And the last one goes. So no, this is why he lost his life. It was not because he was trespassing. Do not let the media lie to you. This was not because he was trespassing, guys. We must be fair with the information. And then it says, but that simply shows no intent. Yes. And yes, people can be murdered without intent. So this was not this again. Yes, it does show that there was no intent. They didn't have intent to do so. But now, according to Georgia law, what do they have the right to do in a situation like this? And this is what we're going to look at. This is my last slide. We come up with 2 hours, guys. This is probably the longest time I've gone live and done a live stream. So I really do appreciate you guys sticking with me through all this. This was a lot to get through. So, Code 16321 states that A person is justified in threatening, so the brandishing of the weapon, the threatening or using force against another when and to the extent that he or she reasonably believes that such threat or force is necessary to defend himself or herself or a third person against such others immediate. Oh, let's make it see the whole thing. Oh, imminent, not immediate. Against such others imminent use of unlawful force. However, except as provided in Code Section 16-3-23, a person is justified in using force which is intended or likely to cause death. Go read and put this part here. So in Code Section 16-23-3-23, a person is justified in using force which is intended or likely to cause death or great bodily harm only if he or she reasonably believes that such force is necessary to prevent death or great bodily injury to himself or herself or a third person, or to prevent the commission of a forcible felony. Okay? Read that again. Under this code, a person is justified in using force which is intended or likely to cause death or great bodily harm only if he or she reasonably believes that such force is necessary to prevent death or great bodily injury to himself or herself or a third person, or to prevent the commission of a forcible felony. All right. So now, at the point before, at the point where Ahmaud is running, guys, let's be fair about this. At the point where he's running, and he's up on, and even when he was attempted when he's attempted to go like towards the truck, and then he comes out, he sees that shotgun. That wasn't a reason to shoot him. If he was a took off running another direction, that was no reason to shoot him. No reason at all. But as soon as he went for that gun, that gave the justifiable reason to cause death or great bodily harm. Because what happened? They reasonably believed that such force was necessary to prevent death or great bodily injury. What happens if you get my gun? What happens if you take my gun from me? This is to prevent that from happening. You're not going to get my gun and get the chance to shoot me with it. That is the thing. That is the thing, guys. Now, whether you agree with it or disagree with it, that's the law. Like I said, I mentioned this earlier. At the very least, what this is going to end up doing is cause Georgia to may look at their laws a little differently, to revise some things. It may. Not saying it will, but it may. But this is what happened. This is what happened. They reasonably believe up until this point, there was no reason to shoot him. No reason to shoot him. Up until the point where he reached for their gun. Same thing happened with police officers. Police officers, they pull up their weapon, right? They say, stop. You know what I'm saying? But they are not allowed to shoot you, with your hands raised. There's no immediate threat to their life. No reasonable threat to them or nobody else. They have no reason to shoot, right? That would be unlawful. But if you reach for a police officer's gun, it can shoot you. Whether you get it in your hand or not, they can and will shoot you. And with the intention to kill you. They say, yes, but Ahmaud can defend himself too. Simply being a thief doesn't get rid of that. And that's a good point, Dennis. But the thing is, and this is why guys, also, Dennis, anyone else, I know it's been 2 hours. I still got time, guys. If you want to, there is a link in the description. If you want to come on, we can chop it up. You're on here as well. We don't have to be through the comments. If you want to, anyone who's interested, you're welcome to do that. I know I've been on here for a while. I got my water next to me. So if I get dry mouth, I can drink a little bit. I'm good to go. Okay. I got time, This is the longest live I've ever done. And it probably be probably the longest I'll probably ever do. I don't know. But that wasn't the case. Ahmaud at this point was not defending himself. There was nothing for Ahmaud to defend himself with. They were not attacking him. There was no immediate threat to his physical harm or his body. The fact that because they stopped the truck in front of him doesn't mean that he was finna get attacked. All because when Travis stood out of the truck and he had the shotgun on him, doesn't mean that he was finna get shot. If he was going to get shot, he would have pointed the gun at him and shot at him while he was running towards the truck. There was no immediate threat to his body at that point. There was nothing that would have justified it. If Ahmaud would have come up and started fighting him, Just for that, him having an open carry, just as laws are, guys, just for him having a gun on him, wouldn't necessarily make it. Because police officers have a gun on them all the time, and it's shown, it's visible. They have it in their hands. But you're not going to go and just punch a police officer because they have a gun on them, and they call it self defense when they start fighting you and then end up shooting you. You know, so you're not going to call that self defense. You know what I'm saying? There was nothing there for him to say, okay, I'm being attacked. Ahmaud was not being attacked. He was being chased because it was trying to commit a citizen's arrest. Once again, we already looked at that, guys. If you haven't watched, I know we're about 2 hours. We're in 2 hours into this. So I talked about that earlier. They was attempting a citizen's arrest, which they had a right to do so. And Ahmaud knew they had a right to do so. He knew what he was doing. He knew it. That's why he didn't make a scene about it. He was trying to just get away because he knew he was in the wrong. That's all that was doing. And so there was no immediate threat to him. They already called the police. What sense would it make? What sense would it make for them to call the police and then shoot and kill him in cold blood? You know what I'm saying? Like, because just for him trespassing, they would have no right. They would have been charged with murder. If that was the case, guys, if this all this was, and just be called a spade a spade, if all this was that Ahmaud was caught trespassing, they followed him and they just shot him. You know what I'm saying? That's what we saw on video. They followed him and they just said, hey, stop. And he didn't stop and they shot him. They will be charged with murder. Period. Charged with murder. No questions asked. They'd have got charged 2 months ago. We wouldn't have been waiting until this month to hear about it. They would have been got charged. But that wasn't what happened. What happened was that as they would follow him because he did commit a crime and they was attempting a citizen's arrest, which they was in their right to do. They came up, they approached him, they put alongside him, put up in front of him, blocked this way, not completely blocked this way, but they put up in front of him, attempted to get out, attempted to get him to stop. He would not stop. He went around, tried to fight him, tried to grab the gun. That's what got him shot. That's what got him shot. That's what happened. All right. You know, so as hard as it is, and we once again, as Alina said earlier, it's sad. That's sad. Arlena, sorry, I mispronounced your name. Arlena. It's sad. You know what I'm saying? Like this, it's simply sad. Like there's no way of looking at this and saying, "Oh man, man, oh, hey, it is what it is." Cause like no, ain't nobody approaching it that way. No one's approaching it that way. But where there's witnesses being bared falsely, we got to deal with that. We got to deal with that, especially when people are saying it is because of racism. There is no evidence that this was because of racism. There's no evidence that these guys are racist. No clear evidence. I mean, they could be. It's a possibility that it could be racist, but we don't see that. You know what I'm saying? And it could be that this gave them an excuse. I mean, they very could well be racist, and they're like, you know what? We're racist. We tired of black people. Just let him come back again. Let him show up again at this house. We're gonna chase him down, and we're gonna chase him down. We're gonna dare him to fight us. I mean, we're gonna dare him to. We're gonna provoke him. We're gonna say everything we can to get him to try to fight us, and then shoot him. That could be very well the case. But when we look at the video, that video has audio. That wasn't what was being shouted at him. What was being shouted at Ahmaud was stop. Hey, stop, stop. But he didn't. He went around, he attempted to come back the way, went around the truck, then started killing in the fight. And you hear the father there, whoa, Travis, Travis. You know, like, I mean, you could tell this is not what they was expecting to happen. This wasn't what they was expecting to happen. You know, it just happened that way. And then it says that is why assault is an important concept. If Ahmaud is assaulted, then self-defense is a reasonable reaction. Exactly. Exactly. But then once again, it's like we have to show that he was assaulted. You know, I mean, was he truly assaulted? And like they followed him. They followed him. Not at, and keep in mind, like this wasn't like they followed him and like hot pursuit. They racing behind him. Even if you look at the video, the guy following the camera. You know, he ain't like he's overly speeding. You know what I'm saying? Like they just keeping track of him. He's running in the road. They just following him. He's trying to get away from him, but they're following him. You know, they ain't trying to run him over. You know what I'm saying? They're well within their rights. A citizen's arrest, preventing him from leaving the scene. That's what it is for a citizen's arrest. Keeping him from leaving the scene. They don't have a right to shoot you for a citizen's arrest. You know what I'm saying? But they have a right to try to keep you from leaving the scene. All right, when you committed a crime, when they have immediate knowledge, or have been an eyewitness to it. So they weren't an eyewitness to it. The McMichaels weren't an eyewitness, but they did have immediate knowledge of what took place. They had immediate knowledge. Arlene says that it's so true. We have to examine it properly, especially if we are believers. Especially if we are believers. Because what the Bible says, truth is what matters. Jesus says, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. Truth. All truth belongs to God. All truth. Ephesians 4:25. Let each of you speak truth, each one of you to his neighbor. For we are members of one to another. Speak truth. That's what matters here, guys. What the truth is. Not our emotions, but what the truth is. And as Christians, especially as Christians, we should be concerned with the truth is, aside from our emotions. And be real about this. When it comes to the gospel, guys, we know, man, we love our sin. We love our sin. And we know it don't feel good. It don't feel good to turn away from all those things all the time. We fight our flesh daily. But all because it doesn't feel good doesn't mean that there's a law that we abide by. God's law. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the law is the law, the rights are rights, you know. And that's what makes it so difficult because I know everybody don't see it this way, and a lot of emotions are driving this thing. But that's reality of it, guys. Ahmaud Arbery did not get shot because he trespassed. He didn't get shot for trespassing. He didn't get shot because he's a black man. That's a lie. Please don't buy into the hype. Don't buy into the hype. You may not agree with Georgia laws, but the laws are the laws, and they're there for a reason. And at the end of the day, and this is why it's important to vote. And I don't disagree with Georgia's laws when it comes to the guns. I think we should have a right to carry. I think we should have a right to open carry. You know, we should have a right to do all that. You know, I think the more we put restrictions on people having weapons, it makes it where we can less defend ourselves. So yeah, I mean, even Ahmaud, if Ahmaud was armed, he would have had a right. If he had a long barrel shotgun running down the road, I mean, he would have been in his right. It would have been unwise for him, but he would have had the right to do so. They couldn't shoot him because of that. They could not come shoot Ahmaud just because he had a shotgun on him. Call a spade a spade. You know, so that's the reality of the situation, guys. Then it says, I think the two were simply dim-witted and arrogant, no intent on the outset of murder, unless proven otherwise. And that's the key point, unless proven otherwise. Unless proven otherwise. But what we see here, I just don't see this as being murder. I don't see this as being murder. At the very least, unless they just rule out the fact that they had immediate knowledge, if they rule that out, at the very least, we're talking about manslaughter. But murder, no, because he reached for the gun. If Ahmaud didn't reach for the gun, if Ahmaud just approached, because once again, the thing says, how about to say the scripture? Y'all forgive me. I'm being real with y'all. That's what I was going to say. I had to catch myself. This text says that according to this code, if there is a threat of great bodily harm or death, then use of this force could be there. Use of deadly force can be there. But Ahmaud just happened to walk up to you. That's not cause to shoot him because he walks up to you. Him running at you is not reason to shoot him. But when he reached for that gun, when he reached out his hand to that gun, guys, and tried to take that gun from him, that now caused a issue of imminent I can't talk, imminent danger. Imminent danger. So no, it's like that's the thing, man. So yeah, we can say that maybe Travis should have left the shotgun in the truck. Maybe that wouldn't have happened. But who's to say if he didn't have the gun, to have the shotgun, that Travis would have immediately tried to jump on him? And then we don't know. I mean, not Travis, but Ahmaud would have tried to jump on him. But then his father would have been there to have the cover. You know what I mean? All these scenarios could have played out. It just didn't happen that way. It simply didn't happen that way. And we can talk about what ifs and everything else, but what happened? What happened? You know? And that's simply what happened. With all this information that came out so far, it's impossible right now for me to conclude that these guys are acting in cold blood murder. That's a lie. That's bearing false witness. There's no evidence of that.